Hey, welcome everybody. We are here at OnPodcast, the On Microsoft podcast. We are in season 1, episode 2, and 2 standing for Duo, because we have a very special podcast today. It's all about the Duo. We will hit you with what's up next week, but for the majority of this podcast, we will just be talking about the Duo. I'm here with my great co-host,
Arif Bacchus.
And he happened to grab a Duo. We weren't part of the initial 50 people who got one, but he was, he's well known on YouTube now for his very thorough podcast, his very thorough review of the Duo in person at Best Buy. He now has one. He's had it for about a week or so. And so he's also answered questions on Reddit. We've seen questions on Twitter. We will be answering questions that we got and then questions we have about the device ourselves today. So with that being said, let's just get into the meat of our podcast today.
So to start this podcast, we have a first segment where I answer the questions that you guys had about the Duo. There weren't that many questions like we had hoped, but it is what it is. And we have a total of 3 questions. 2 came from our YouTube channel and 1 came from a post, my unboxing post, if I'm not mistaken. And they're all pretty simple questions that anyone who picks up this device or buys it would want to want answered. And I'll start with the first question. Someone asked me that if when the Duo is folded back on itself, is the screen on the back blank or does it respond to touch? So that's an interesting question because right away the Duo is closed like this. So what you'll have to do is fold it open like this and then unlock it on the side screen here, and then you get that. But if you want to use the camera, right, you have to fold it like this. So you see, it's sort of buggy right now, like people said. So this screen will have your image, and then if you flip it towards you, the one on the back goes completely blank. And it's supposedly to switch to it, the other screen, you can double tap, because right now here it will say double tap, and you can double tap and the screen will come back to you. But the screen on the back that you're not using is always blank, because you do not want accidental touches and butt tweets from on your Twitter, right, Kareem?
Yeah, especially for us people with chubby fingers that get all over the place. Piggybacking on that off-screen thing, I do remember hearing through several other reviews that we've scoured the internet for that having the back screen off like it is helps in preserving battery life. I don't know if you've experienced any of that, but some reviewers have said when they have both screens open, obviously it drains the battery, which has been rated relatively good for most reviews. But when they say that they had it in single mode with the device folded back and the back screen off, they were able to kind of squeeze out some more battery life from it.
I wouldn't say that the battery life is bad if you're using both screens. Like my Pixel 3 XL and my iPhone XS, they both get about, I would say, 4 or 5 hours of on-screen time and maybe 6 or 7 of total hours of use, counting it being off and in your pocket. So the Duo is around on par with that. I charged it this afternoon at around, I would say 2 o'clock, and I used it all of yesterday before that. And right now my battery, I don't know if you could see it, it's at 71%, and it's telling me my last full charge was 6 hours ago, and the screen usage is 1 hour and 42 minutes. So, and I've been using it both like this, single, and like this with the Duo mode. So I would say it's not really shouldn't be a concern. You'll get good battery life out of it.
Yeah. Going on to our next question, we got inking, which is kind of a big thing with the Duo. I've actually seen one reviewer do, and we'll see if we can get some links down in the below the description of some of these other reviews. Someone did a full-on art project on it.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what's your experience been with inking?
Obviously, I am a journalist, I'm a writer, and I am not an artist. So, although I do have Autodesk Sketchbook installed, because I was
Nice.
curious, you could do some inking and scribbling. We're doing a podcast. It's hard for me to show you.
Yeah.
You could scribble, and it picks it up just fine. I do have the older Surface Pen, but all the Surface Pens except the one from the original Surface Pro will work with it. It's pretty smooth. And if I go into OneNote here, just let me pull it up. Sorry if you can't see me on the screen.
Yeah, for those of
OneNote.
you just listening,
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
touching a lot of stuff on the
yeah,
screen.
yeah. That's how it works these days. So if you open OneNote and you go to Scribble, I'll span it across both screens for you, like that.
Ooh,
You
spanning.
should you should see this little pen icon right here. So if you
Looks
tap
like it's in the upper
this,
left for people
if
listening.
you if you tap this pen icon, uh, you get the little fly out menu with
Mm-hmm.
all of the pens, and then you can start scribbling or doodling or drawing or whatever, and it picks up your inking just like it would on a Surface Pro or any other Surface, because it is using a pixel sense display like panels love saying. And
Now,
best part is the eraser works like it would on any other surface. It erases all of your ink strokes. No clicking a side button or any weird stuff.
with that being said, how is the latency on this? I know that it's a pixel sense display paired with a Surface Pen, but I remember speaking with you, this is off mic, about the latency in OneNote specifically. How are
Um,
things now?
you were talking to me like the hours after I set up my Duo, and
Yeah.
originally on my first day it was really laggy. Like if I'm doing this right now, you could see it's picking up all of my ink strokes as I
Right.
scribble. But originally it was laggy, but I updated OneNote and it's no longer laggy, and
Hooray.
it has good palm rejection, and that's where the thick bezels actually help you, because you're resting your palm on the bottom, and it gives you more room to do inking like this.
Now,
So
could you quickly demonstrate what inking is like with it folded back? Like if you were to have a quick
oh,
notepad,
sure,
like if you
sure,
were a beat cop or something.
sure. I could also do a sticky note if you want to. I don't know if you got, because sticky
I
notes
use
will
sticky notes all the time.
sticky notes will appear in the launcher over here, but I don't have it set up right now. I'll just add it real quick. Again, sorry if you can't see me doing this. Just give me a second here.
Yeah, sure.
Right. I'll click create note right here, and then I'll click ink note, and then you get this whole section on the screen just for your note,
Nice.
and it's like pretty good.
Cool.
And I'll fold it back. Switch the screen, hopefully. Go back to my note. And this is what it's like if you were inking on a single screen, like as if it was a iPad, not an iPad, an iPhone or a Galaxy. Because obviously iPhones don't have inking,
Yeah, not yet.
so it's just as good. It's just as
Yeah.
good. No bugginess. Very, 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 very quick.
Now, I mean, granted, this is amazing, and you got a great deal on that pen. People will still need to fork over at least $100 to get this sort of experience. I'm hoping Microsoft sees in the future an opportunity to kind of bundle this stuff, because it's made. I mean, it's almost begging for it.
I know. You could find the older Surface Pen for a lot cheaper, and like I said earlier when we started, any Surface Pen works except the original Surface Pro Pen, the thick boy from the first generation. So if you really want to get the most out of the Duo, I suggest you don't have to get the Slim Pen. You could get the original Surface Pen and
Right.
it'll work just fine. It's just that there's nowhere to put it on the Duo. So even though it will latch to it a little bit, if you shake it, it'll move around. It's not
Yeah.
designed to stay latched like it is on a Surface Pro.
Yep, time to bring back the old pocket protectors. You have your pen with you at all times.
True that. True that.
The next thing I think we could start talking about, and I think you're going to bring up, is usually about the how USB works. I know it hasn't been a highlight of most reviews as of recent, but I think now that more people are getting acquainted with it and kind of using it more than just the standard 2-week. Let me use it as a standard slab phone. We're starting to see experiments with it, which I think you're about to talk to, which are going to be pretty amazing for this.
Yeah, the Duo is an Android device, and like all Android phones, if you have a little, like here, I have this USB-C dongle. Some phones come with it in a box, but you don't get it with the Duo. The Duo has a USB-C port on the bottom. So if you put in this dongle in the USB-C port, and then you have a drive, like this is a flash drive, and then you plug it in like this, and then if I unlock my Duo, I should get a notification that there's a drive. So if I click the notification, again, you probably can't see it right. But if you click the notification, you'll see that it tells you that you need to format the drive. So you could use it either for extra storage or just as a regular drive, where you plug it in and then open the Files app and browse through anything that's on the USB drive, which is not as easy as it is on an iPad or some other tablets out there. It's just like you take the drive, you plug it in, and you open the Files app, and any file you have on this board will show up on the Duo.
And I remember asking you about files. We're getting segueing into this. Just Microsoft, are they bringing their old Windows type of file system, or are we using something a little more modern?
Well, again, it is an Android phone and it is running Android 10.
Hey, some people were hoping.
Well, you're not going to get the UWP file explorer on an Android phone, so you'll just have to use the Google File Explorer app, which comes as the default one here. Every time I do this, the screen always bugs out. Like, it's been perfect for me, and then during our podcast, it gives me problems.
It's a known quantity. Whenever a presentation is going on, technology fails.
Here is the Android Files app. You have your Drive, your OneDrive, and a list of your photos.
So it's the same. It's the same when you get on the Pixel, right?
Yeah, it's exactly the same as the one on the Pixel. Nothing new there.
Yeah, I know Microsoft was very cautious about the way they kind of did Android on this. Okay, well, let's see. We got our last question, right? Or we're just going to go into things. I think we should just go into things that we are more concerned about right now while we have this last bit of time left.
Yeah, we have a lot. Of course, we could go on for hours about the Duo if we can.
I plan to. Plan to.
Well, we're just
here for this one, but we'll break it up over podcast.
We're just here for half an hour, so we're just talking about a few topics. Something that Kareem asked me about is TikTok, right, Kareem?
I mean, during quarantine, my wife and I have gotten really adept at using TikTok. I didn't want to, but it's entertaining, and I just think it kind of falls in the world of Microsoft. We have about a week or so before they need to purchase them. So let's see if if they've already started planning optimizations for it.
So let's open TikTok here. This is something I mentioned, is that you could configure the feed, your launcher feed, on the right screen and have your home screen on the left screen, which is how I prefer to use my Duo, because I hold it like this in my hand. So if you fold it open, you have your quick apps on the left and you have your home screen on the right. So you pull down on the home screen and you can search. I'll search for TikTok and I'll open TikTok. Again, sorry if the camera work.
And while you're opening that, I just want to give everybody a kind of a heads up that I strong-armed Arif into this because he didn't really want to do this.
Yeah. TikTok is about a 300 megabyte download, and I did not want to put that cancer on my Duo. But I'm a people's man, and here we are. So
Thank you.
you see that TikTok will open in the single screen mode
Okay.
on the screen you launch it on. It's
Right.
because it's obviously not optimized for the dual screen, but you could. This is something that I'll get into that I didn't mention so far in 20 minutes. You could span it in the middle, like any other app, like this, but you'll
Okay.
get and then it'll go into this weird tablet mode, and you need to turn the duo vertically.
And it goes horizontal. Okay. I
Yeah,
mean vertical. Yeah.
vertically, yeah, like this, and then you can scroll it. Yeah, I don't use TikTok, so I have no idea what the hell this is. But yeah, this is it right there. So
Okay.
some apps will not support spanning in the vertical in the horizontal mode, and if you go across the hinge like this, it'll force itself into the tablet mode that you'll get on Android. And
Yeah.
TikTok is one of those apps that do that. So if you're into TikToking, you will not be able to rest the duo like this and do your dancing because it will force itself into the tablet mode, which is
And
vertical and not horizontal. And yeah.
speaking of apps that force themselves into things, how was Instagram on this? Because I know
Oh
um,
yeah, I'm an
even on the
Insta.
Pixel and on the Galaxy phones, Android phones, that you can't do split screen with Instagram particularly. So I wonder how it's going to work on dual screens.
Let me just get my duo back into the right orientation. Whoops, there we go. So I'm an Insta and I'm a Snap boy. Though you see it's on my home screen. My favorite apps. I have Twitter, Edge, Insta, and Snap. So a problem that I had with the Duo, it's not really a problem. It's just something that you'll need to get used to if you're switching. Is that apps like Insta or apps like Snap, here we have the two side by side. You notice that how they are in a little boxy mode, right, Kareem?
Yeah.
They're because the Duo is a phone that is wider and shorter than most Android phones.
Hmm.
So Android apps will have to adapt themselves to this mode. So you're gonna get a little boxy view sort of, which gives you access to more stories on the top on Insta. But if you open someone's story, I mean, this is my personal one, so I don't want to violate my friends. But if you open a story, people who have an iPhone, their stories are designed to be in that resolution, and it's not optimized for the dual screen. So if they have a text all the way up top and you're looking at it on your Duo, you won't be able to see it because of your Duo's optimizing Android to fit the Duo's resolution and the Duo's aspect ratio. So it kind of ruins Insta for you,
Once
but
again,
but
Apple's dividing people.
but you could put it in the tablet mode like I will here. Oh jeez, we got some bugs. This is
Well,
what happens.
that's been reported.
This is what happens when you're looking at the camera and not the phone itself. You see how
Yeah.
it did that?
Uh-huh.
So now it's more optimized.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's spanning the feet the hinges.
Yeah. I
So
mean, what we're looking at,
it takes some getting used
yeah.
to because the Android the Duo, sorry I said Android, the Duo is a short and a wide phone and not a long and a tall phone like the Pixel or the iPhone is. So that's one thing that you really do need to get used to if you buy this, is getting used to the way that Android apps scale themselves.
Well, I feel like again, we'll probably hit on this later about Android 11 and optimizations because I feel like the Fold's going to run into some of these similar issues, even though it's a single screen that expands into a different aspect ratio. But like I said, we'll get into that later.
We
This
saw
device isn't for Instagram or Snapchat or anything like that. This is for
this is a
productivity.
productivity, yeah.
And
So
how has your productivity been helped, hindered, or improved by it so far using
this
Microsoft stuff?
I'm a Microsoft guy, obviously, so I have Edge, and in Edge, typically what I do is in the morning this is part of my routine in the morning when I wake up. I would go to Microsoft Rewards and I would go on Bing and run my searches to get my points. So an example for me is that I would have Bing open on one session on one screen, and then I would have the rewards page open on the other. So I'd click a reward and it would show me like a quest and it would take me to that, but I still have Bing open to run my to get my points and do my regular searches. So you're able, like I am here, you're able to run two instances of Edge side by side, and you could have two websites open side by side. So I'll open on Microsoft. Again, it's hard to do on camera, so I'm doing it off camera, and I'll open digital trends, and you see you have two websites side by side, and you get the full view, and it's not cut out like it would be if you had a regular Pixel phone where you'd have to stack the apps top to bottom. So you get a full view of the web, and that's something that's really important for me in my productivity, and it's a way that I'm using the Duo a lot. And not to mention social media, like having Insta and Snap open side by side, and having Instagram open next to Twitter, or having my RSS feed on one screen and having Twitter open on the other. There's a lot of different situations which you could do stay productive with the Duo. It doesn't necessarily have to be with just Microsoft apps like that are already optimized, because even if an app is not optimized for the Duo, you still have two separate screens. So you could put, like, give me an example here. I'll put Reddit on this screen, and I'll put my Twitter on this screen. So you're still able to be productive, even though these apps aren't optimized for spanning or whatever. You're still able to see two apps side by side, which is important in productivity, right?
Yeah, of course. I mean, again, I am looking forward to getting mines and putting together some combos, which is part of the reason why I gave you some homework assignments about gaming and comics, because those are big to me. And I saw an opportunity as soon as I saw it open as a book to be like, this is where my digital comic life will live. And you were kind enough to kind of indulge me on that.
Sure. You asked me to install Marvel Strike Force.
Yes.
So I have Strike Force just launched on that screen. And you also asked me to try out, what was the name of the app again?
Comic Trim? Comic Trim,
so I have Comic Trim.
There's several in the marketplace.
Comic Trim.
Yeah.
Open on this screen.
You might find interesting, it was in my review for the Chromebook Duet that running Strike Force was a no-go, which is surprising. But you're saying it works fine on the Duo?
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's loading right now. I guess you could see it in your camera if Teams doesn't mess up. So it's loading, but you're able to read your comics on one screen, and you're able to play your game on your other. And you could play two games at once if you want. It doesn't have to be a comic running on this screen or a Marvel Strike Force on the other. You could have Candy Crush on one, and you could have whatever other game you play on the other, or you could have xCloud on one and Stadia on the other. If that's your cup
that
of
would be
tea.
something else to try out for people, especially on the precipice of this Xbox reveal. We just had, and what's going to be coming in the next month or so before the release. I mean, what's another thing we were talking about? We did comics, we did games, we did productivity, we did social media. Here are just some smaller things like, are there any redundant apps that you get? Like, sometimes with Samsung, they have I know Microsoft has its own mapping situation. Do they put that on the Duo, or do you just go with Google Maps?
Everything that comes on the Duo is Google. So hold on here. Let me quit out of this. I'll show you the Google folder that comes pre-installed. If, for you guys who are listening, maybe Kareem can read off some of the apps.
Yeah, it looks like we got our traditional search. We got Chrome. We got YouTube. We got YouTube Music, it looks like. They put on, is that Duo down there?
Yes. No,
Drive
I installed Duo.
and Gmail. So you get your typical suite, and obviously you can go to the Play Store to get anything else you might need. I just wanted to know, like I said, they have their own mapping solution. They technically have, and I think Zach's kind of railed on this, Zach Bowden over at WC, about how bad the Photos app is, but that means technically they have their own Photos app as well. But I didn't know if they were gonna, forego those for something a little more standard that most Android people are already using.
They're using Google Photos as the Photos app,
Right.
but
I use that too.
I prefer to use OneDrive because I'm a Microsoft guy. So here you have your Google Photos app on it. All your photos.
I use both. I back up to OneDrive. I back up everything to OneDrive.
All your photos will show up in Google Photos right there. So I took some photos on my Pixel, so they're also showing up on there too.
Speaking of photos, this will be kind of our last thing before we, have to kind of say goodbye to everybody. But and I know it's probably the biggest thing. I've been telling people today that have been asking questions about the Duo that like, hey, is it a great device? It's mixed, but the one resounding thing has been photography. You and I spoke about it. We don't think it's been that bad, but how do you think it is?
I mean, once you get over, I replied to, I believe it was Brad Sam. No, to Thoreau or Brad Sams, one of the two of them this morning. They asked, how do you feel about the Duo if you bought one? So I was like, I have one and the software is fine. The one of the two things that only bother me about it, like I said in the segment, is the way the what do you call it again? The squishing of the Android apps to fit the resolution and the camera work. So like you said, the camera is one thing that bothers me, but it's something that it's okay. It'll get the job done. It's not gonna replace your DSLR. If you want to take a photo outside of like flowers or a car or something on the street, it'll be fine. But if you're in a low light situation, like say outside, like I tried taking a photo of the 9/11 memorial lights last night on my Duo, and it was pretty bad because it's not exactly a low light camera because of the way it's doing the. I'm not a photography expert, so don't quote me, but I believe it's because of the way that it uses the autofocus and the focusing mechanism or whatever. So the camera is good in most situations like that you'll need it for, like for posting food to Insta or Snap or posting pictures, day-to-day pictures, you'll be fine. And you'll also be fine with the way that the mechanism works, which is whatever screen you have the camera on when you open it. Like I said in my hands-on. So if I have it open here, right now it's facing me, it's facing you guys, so you're probably it's facing the world. And then if I flip it over, it'll face me. Well, it's hard to show off because
it's fine. I mean, again,
the way the camera app is very fluid and it'll work once you get used to flipping the phone and flipping it around to use the one camera for both selfie and a world view. So it's not something that's bad. It's not the greatest, but you'll get people. You'll get used to it. If you're buying a Duo and you're worried about the camera, you'll get used to it. It's not something to worry about.
Yeah, I was just wondering, because again, I know I'm going headstrong into this decision anyway, wanting a smartphone world that's closer to Westworld, where you open up a device and just keep opening it for the screen that you need. So I'm all on board. I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that Microsoft can kind of glean some information from the way the Pixel works and kind of doing cloud-based server-side processing to kind of, you take the initial picture, people wait 30 seconds and they get a better picture. Or, maybe it goes into Google Photos and they do some optimization, some kind of pairing where, the camera isn't that bad, at least for the first iteration of this. Maybe next time down the road they'll do something else. But I mean,
it's not as bad as people are making it out to be. It does the job just fine for me. No one on Insta or Snap has messaged me and be like, Yo, are you using a potato webcam? So I'm pretty sure it's fine.
Well, and last thing before, like I said, before we wrap this up, I was watching John Rettinger's review, and he talked about having the Duo open in phone mode. I'm going to call it that. I don't know what it officially called. I'm sure panels will come after me, but in phone mode where it's two screens that it's kind of back to back. Is there a way for both screens to come off, like turn off once it's like that? So if in case you're trying to grab a quick picture, or if you're just if you're making the transition from a single slab phone to the Duo, that you were able to get that same sort of experience right out of your pocket versus opening it, folding it, hitting the camera app, and getting into your flow and stuff like that. Can you just have it on and off as the single phone?
Well, you could technically, like right now, it's folded with both screens out.
Right, but can you turn it off, turn it back on that way?
You could, yeah. It'll work. It'll work just fine. So you have power off, you get the menu. The only thing is, if you choose to do this, you'll get the constant message on the screen. Double tap to switch screen. Double tap to switch screen. And I mean, I don't want to do that because it'll sleep and wake as it's in your pocket.
Right.
Because
okay.
this button right there, it's a pretty big button. So I don't want it touching like the side of my pocket and sleep and waking. But if you want to use it like this and keep it in your pocket, you can do it. It'll work just fine. It won't affect the way you use the device.
Okay. That's, again, that's just one of the things I was noticing. Again, as someone who's, if you're going to sell somebody on this, or if you're going to convince somebody to make the transition from, a typical iPhone or Android, if that's easier for them to, same way they kind of Samsung's gone about it by giving you this, the option to have the single phone experience and then opening it versus forcing people to kind of start off with the Dual and then finding the single phone. But it is what it is.
One thing I will say is that having the phone like this, it's super useful if you're always getting phone calls because you're able to just pull it out really quick and then answer it. So it'll help you skip out on that part. Instead of having to do this and then fold it and then answer, you could just pull it out and answer it really quick.
Yeah, not all of us majored in origami in college, so we'll have to work on that.
Yeah, it is. It's fine.
But I mean, I'm sure again we'll be talking about this for the foreseeable future. So we're just going to kind of wrap up today's episode with just your final thoughts on it and kind of I don't even know what we're really looking ahead for right now. Everything about Xbox leaked last week.
Oh yeah.
I guess we could look forward to more information about the TikTok deal. And I'm sure Windows is doing stuff. So, those
we also might get more Duo firmware updates to fix this bugginess that people are complaining about. Well, even though I have not had a single bug except for a few, but I was showing it off today, apparently.
Those are presentation bugs. That happens to everybody. Yeah, I'm sure they're going to be coming up with software updates probably bi-monthly to get this back up to where it was going to be at in November when they originally wanted to release it. But again, I'm going to let you take the last minute or so to kind of let everybody know, anything we might have left out about typing or processing speed or hiccups like that, and let you sign off with it.
So if you would ask me to rate, it's only been 2 days. So I've been asked by a few people, friends, how would I rate this device?
Yes.
So after 2 days, I would give it about a 4.5 out of 5. I know people have complained about the software and it being buggy, but personally, in 2 days, I've not had any breaking bugs that affect the way I use it. Anything I do on my Pixel or my iPhone, I'm able to do on my Duo without any problem. Edge works, Twitter works, Insta works, Snap works, everything my Outlook works, my email works. All the bit, it just doesn't work the way I'm used to because of the aspect ratio and the smaller screens and having to fold and unfold and flip to get the camera working right. So I would say, like I said in my tweet, I would easily rate it a 4.5 out of 5 right now, as long as you can get used to switching from a tall and long phone to a short and wide phone, and getting used to the camera and getting used to the gestures and the navigations.
And the other big caveat is that day one update. A lot of reviewers talked about getting an update midway through their review, which would have been a week and a half ago, maybe two. There was another update, and you can find it on our website, that we wrote about, that came out earlier this week. Get all the updates, and I'm sure, like I said, Microsoft will be pushing out more to get this, and Google still has Android 11 to roll out that is bringing optimizations for foldables and dual screens. So with that being said, I mean, I think you have 60 days to return it. So try it out. We want to see more videos from everybody, and we want to get more information.
Don't just believe what people are writing about. You only would know how a Duo works if you, like I said last week during our podcast, when I was at the Best Buy and experienced it at Best Buy. You only would know how a Duo works if you go and try it yourself. Don't believe what people are saying. Buy one, go to Best Buy, try one, play with it, and if you're not happy, you can send it back. But I'm pretty sure if you buy one, you would end up being happy as long as you get used to switching your flows and adapting to such a revolutionary device.
I agree. And for those of you that are COVID concerned, send in your old one, try it out for 60 days, film as much as you can. We'll all coalesce the information and we'll pitch it to Microsoft for version 2.
Even if you don't want to, even if you're buying one and you're like $1,500 is a lot to pay for a phone, you guys have to remember that Microsoft has a trade-up program, and you could send back any phone you have, and the minimum value I've seen so far is about $400. So if you send back an older phone like a Galaxy S10, they give you $400 and you'll get the Duo for including taxes, say about $1,000, which is not really too bad. Like
no, it's an iPhone.
My Pixel is worth 450-ish, so you'll get it for almost $1,000, which is the same price as an iPhone.
We have lots of options. We will be back next week talking more about this as well as news. But we want to wish everyone a great weekend.
Yep.
And be safe.
Be safe. Stay well. Wear your masks.
And we'll see you next week.
Yep. See you next week, everyone. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the Duo. Take care.